I just went behind people and just murdered the fish with them, with this as a jig trailer. It's probably something that nobody throws anymore. If they do, they're kind of keeping a tight lip about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking time off your Easter weekend to take a few minutes and just see what we are up to. Today we're just going. I have a box here that I have stuff that I ordered, just never got around to opening it. I decided to go and buy some old school lures that I wanted to do or to use. I say old school. It's not that often that I actually buy tackle, seeing as how I build and make most of my stuff. So for me to go out and buy stuff is kind of rare. So let's just go ahead. This is actually a package from LureNet. And inside of here is actually a few things that I've been wanting to try out for a while. But the vast majority of it is stuff that I put into practice last year. I found baits I hadn't thrown in, maybe a decade or so. And I was catching fish on them when my old standbys, or my standbys that I usually fish, weren't catching anything. So going back a decade, old school stuff that people probably have forgotten, and maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't be showing people this of what I'm going to be throwing this year, but who knows? Maybe you guys got some of this stuff in your garage. Maybe you should think about trying out. Okay, first up here, I went ahead and bought a bunch of Smithwick's suspending super rogues. And some of them are actually, and also some Perfect 10 rogues that were on sale. This widest super rogue. This is going back to a really old Day 4 Bass Talk Live with Frank Scalish episode. I believe it was actually episode number 4, where Frank was talking about how early ice out he was going out and just smashing the smallmouth on these super rogue jerk baits on the flats. So most jerk baits, they're 4 to 4.5 inches. The Smithwick super rogues are 5 inches, bigger profile. I just wanted to try them out. Just to get away from losing a bunch of megabass jerk baits to pike, because the pike are up shallow this time of the year as well. Here's some more, just in your staple colors. Okay, here's a bait that I actually caught a ton of fish on last year. Are we back on? Sorry about that, guys. GoPro battery decided to it just decided to die, I guess. It's actually, I think the battery's junk now, because I pulled it out and it's kind of oval, and it was actually really hard to get out of the GoPro. So I'm assuming this battery's toast. But before I was rudely interrupted by the GoPro battery deciding to take a, this is actually a bait that I have that I dug out and started So I had really good success on as a jig trailer. I thought I had ordered more than this. Oh, I remember why. So for those of you who remember the old school salt craws, yeah, last year I just hammered them with a on the back of a 1/4 ounce green pumpkin jig, and I just went behind people and just murdered the fish with them with this as a jig trailer. It's probably something that nobody throws anymore. If they do, they're kind of keeping a tight lip about it. But yeah, the old Jean LaRue salt craw is now in the Yum version. Now that Jean LaRue, they stopped pretty much making bass baits, and I think Pradco made them exclusively a crappie bait company now. But yeah, the salt craw, you can still get them in Yum. I still have a bunch of the originals. Last year I originally ran out of green pumpkin, and seen the Zoom came out with their own version of the salt craw, which they call the cross craw, and I was doing really good on them. But I noticed that Zoom only has a couple of certain colors, mainly your standbys, but I wanted to pick some up in black neon because I don't have that color, and I wanted to try out this tinfoil color to throw on the back of a white swim jig. Even though that we don't have, shad are not real prevalent. They're not actually not prevalent at all. We're in my area. I have to go down to the Mississippi River to find them, or to be part of the ecosystem, I guess. But it's still a very minimally cut type color, and not something that anyone else really makes, or I should say that Zoom doesn't make this color. And I know that it was a popular color in the Jean LaRue version. Again, I have a big batch of them that I bought. Another old school, it's just a really old school bait that has been very good. That was very good to me last year. Everyone, when you think of a jig trailer, they're thinking of a Rage Craw or some other similar wild action craw, pocket chunks. But to throw something different, it's worth a shot. I also had a lot of success rigging it on a shaky head jig when the bite really got tough. And then the other last old school lure that I bought from Pradco that I'm really excited. I actually used this in it's an old school Jean LaRue bait, and that is the biffle bug, which they now call the scutterbug. I still have a bunch of biffle bugs in here, but again, I wanted to try out some different colors that I no longer had, and it's like tinfoil again, Sooner Run, June Bug, Red Flake, just your staple colors. Black Neon. I wonder why they didn't put the rest of these tinfoils together. Green Pumpkin, can't have enough Green Pumpkin. What really got me interested in going back to trying the biffle bug, or I should say scutterbug, I am a big fan of the Berkeley, was a fan of the Berkeley Pit Boss. So much so that I actually went out and bought my own mold. So I pour my own in that style, and that kind of replaced at the time it was the Havoc Berkeley, when Berkeley had the Havoc version where it was only like $2.99 a bag, and now they're, Jesus, I think they're $6.99 a bag. It was just a cheaper alternative of basically the Biffle Bug for me. And the Biffle Bug wasn't all that durable at the time, and it was like $4.99 or $5.99, and I think they got up to $6.99 at one point. So yeah, the Pit Boss just became a more cheaper alternative, and I did all the exact same things. Although what has really got me interested in trying the Scutterbugs, Biffle Bugs, we'll just call them Scutterbugs from here on out, is not because yeah, they are cheap now. They're now $3.99 a bag, which helps a lot. But going to the Bellows Gill, this is a bait that a lot of guys are free rigging, and I was thinking of maybe this being as a cheaper alternative. And you're wondering, how can that be a cheaper alternative? Let me explain. Free rig, everyone knows the Bellows Gill is pretty much the way to go on these. Let's see here, do I have an open bag? Yeah. If we were to take out this Biffle Bug, and it's got a very similar profile to the Bellows Gill, especially if we were to take off these legs, and now it's a gliding bait, you know, which is basically what the Bellows Gill is. So it's just something I'm going to play around with as a cheaper alternative free rig type bait. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it won't work as well, but it's got a similar profile. Why I went it. Just something for you guys to think about as well. So there you have it. That's basically the old school videos, old school lures that I am going to try bringing back into my watermelon candy, into my rotation. Like I said, the Berkeley Pit Boss, it was my favorite flipping bait as well. But now that I don't know, the last couple of years I just haven't gotten on a good bite with it. So I'm thinking about going back to the Scutterbug. A little bit different profile, a little bit different action. And you know, maybe that's all it's going to take to get me some bites flipping soft plastics again. And the springtime, I guarantee you, if I take these legs off and free rig it, I'm going to catch a bunch of fish, I bet. So that's it. Just a little food for thought for you guys to go dig through your through your stuff that you haven't used in a while, because you never know. I guarantee you'll find something that people haven't thrown for a while and the fish have not seen in ages. Especially, you know, when you consider a bass that's 7 years old, 7 to 10 years old now, is the new 3 to 5 pound fish. I guarantee you they have not seen a jig with a salt craw. they haven't seen it. Go in their garage or your old stash of baits. Find something that you think is going to work this year that you haven't thrown in a decade. Put it in the comments section. I would like to hear what you guys have that you think is old school and something that you think that the fish haven't seen in the last decade or so. Till then, we'll see you guys out in the water.